So, Rochelle, when the mum asks the dad, why is the baby still in diapers? You know what the standard response is?
Oh, no.
I'll give you two reasons, number one and number two.
Perfect.
All right. Well, that's one way to start off an interview. Good morning, everyone. Happy morning. Happy Tuesday. We are happy to have the Masterful Morning Show interviewing Rochelle Serna of Wild and Pure. I almost said Earthly, formerly known as Earthly. Wild and Pure now. Super excited. We're going to dive into all of that today. Welcome, Rochelle. Thanks for being on the show.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Awesome. So I had the pleasure of meeting Rochelle through our mutual lovely community, Money Mind Academy by Sean Croxton. And I learned a lot about her business. I love following her on Instagram and all of the wonderful things that she's doing with her company. So I guess let's start there. Like, what do you do, Rochelle?
So it's, as Marian explained, I started a company called Earthly about a year and a half ago, and we're in the middle of a transition of a rebrand right now. So we are now officially Wild and Pure as of today. Yeah, it's an exciting way to launch. And we make earth-friendly dry wipes. So it kind of started as a passion. Gosh, I've got a background in like child development and holistic nutrition and non-toxic products and things. And so combining all of those loves together, I was looking at what was kind of missing in the market, came up with the idea of a really clean wipe. And that was when my daughter was 6 weeks old. I started working on it, and she's now almost 4. So bringing it to life took a long time. And then we launched, and now we have a wonderful wipe that, although was made originally for babies, is used for, women. People use it for removing makeup, use it for fem care. I've heard people using it in the shop, like for cleaning up oil around their cars, because it's really good at cleaning up oil and being able to toss. So it's been really fun to see how it's being used all over. I've had stories of people saying that they've brought it all across the world with them on their adventures, backpacking and things. And so it's really very versatile, earth-friendly dry wipe that we've, sourced. It's 50% repurposed cotton. So there's just all these little fun things that it was really wonderful to bring it to life and to see it being enjoyed by people.
That's awesome. So you've been in the entrepreneur role for a while now. And here at Masterful Manifestors, we're all about taking the action and creating, but also looking at within and creating from, our universal power. So I am super curious if you would like to talk about how you use intuition as you are doing business.
I would love to talk about that. I think it's something that's really fascinated me lately, is this balance, because for most of my life I worked in a very like masculine energy, and a very like go, take action, must do, better yesterday than tomorrow, and I think that serves in a lot of ways, and it served me in a lot of ways, but really learning kind of by force as a homeschooling, work from home entrepreneur, that you have to also tap into that place to be, if you want to be really efficient, like your body, I think, intuitively knows when you're going to work at its best, what you need to work on first, all of these things. And so I think I'm really trying to focus on that guided action. So instead of just taking action for the sake of taking action, which I've done a million times in my life, it's like, oh, how can I really tap into that spot that's saying, oh, this feels like what I need to take action on right in this moment, and then doing that. So it's not about just, I don't know, it's just that balance of knowing what to work on, and listening to those subtle cues, and realizing when you're working on something that isn't making sense or isn't going to move you forward in the way that you thought it was going to.
That's awesome. I also love the intuition, and you pretty much showed how you kind of tap into that. Now, I was wondering, with being a mom and an entrepreneur, how you talk a lot about the balance. How have you found that, being able to balance that and move forward with your career, with the products that you want to bring to everyone, and being a mom. How do you balance all of that, adding that third element in there as well?
I don't know if someone wants to tell me not to. It's constantly, it's a lot of grace, a lot of self grace. Like if I could give myself like one gift that would make me a better everything, I think it would be self-compassion. I'd be a better mother. I'd be a better entrepreneur. I'd be a better friend, like everything if I had more self-compassion. And I think that that's really a journey I've been on specifically in the last like 3 months. But it's like finding and being okay with every moment that's happening. Because if you want to, like my day, I wake up in the morning, I usually have half an hour by myself, and then the kids get up starving, just like they've never eaten before, just grumpy little starving minions. I'm like, why? You're so pleasant all of the time. But in the morning, it's just like, and so they wake up so hungry and irritable. And so if I let myself get in an irritable space about their irritation, it's just like a clashing. And so reminding myself every day, okay, they're going to wake up hungry. They still love you. Just feed them and then move on with your day. But sometimes I still, in my stubbornness, wake up and I'm like, well, be nicer or whatever. And so it's like really giving them compassion too, right? And so that word of compassion, like I think that concept, not just the word, but the concept of compassion would make things flow on every level so much easier. And so yeah, like, okay, they wake up, they're doing their thing. And then I actually homeschooled before this situation. And so when you are a full-time homeschooler, you are responsible for creating all of the content as well. So lesson planning and everything. And so it's a pretty good amount of work. And so, we're doing creation either the night before, the morning of, and really like coming up with a lesson plan and then doing all of that, taking the time to be one-on-one with them, not letting myself get distracted by email rabbit holes, which is so difficult when you're, running a business, and spending that time with them, and then giving myself time sometimes just for an hour at night is the only time sometimes I'm by myself. And so I think when you're forced into a situation where your time is constricted in a way, like that's not even the right word, but you really need to like be able to segment out and be able to flow with it, because there's going to be like best laid plans. Every single day is a case of like best laid plans, but something might happen and you just might get off of your groove. And so that's when you have to have that grace, that compassion, and that coming back to just a knowing that it's going to get done. Like, I know that this will get done. So I can either stress or I can not stress. Like, those are my options. It's going to get done regardless. So how can I try to get through this in a way that's going to be easiest for all of us?
That's super powerful. And I like the fact that, like, how you're talking about the homeschooling and the focusing and the compassion for yourself and the compassion for your children. It really does reflect like the path that you've gone down with your business reflects your family ties and everything. So it really does show how we can integrate everything. And that's absolutely beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Rochelle, I'm amazed. Like, starting a business from scratch takes a lot of work. Parenting young children takes a lot of work. But add to that homeschooling as well. What's the secret?
I think there's like a slight bit of self-torture in there. No, it's like, I think, I mean, really, if I love dissecting myself. Like, I love searching all of the caveats of like my mind and my being and figuring out why I function the way I do. And I do think there's an element of just seeing if I can do it, and so I think that there's that. And then also speaking on that realm, it's like, okay, I love all the different resources for learning about myself, like the Enneagram and the human design. And I just took a strengths finder test. And I think that, I don't know that there's a secret, but I think when we know ourselves, when we really take the time to build that relationship with ourselves, then we understand our capacity and what makes us tick. And so for me, I think, gosh, I mean, there's at least 12 reasons for each of the things that I'm doing right now. Like homeschooling, why did I want to? Because I enjoy freedom and I want my kids to have freedom. Because I went to school to be a teacher, and I saw that I wanted, something a little bit different, because I did want to see if I could do it. There's like all of these different layers. And so I wouldn't say that it's for everyone, and I would not say that it's easy. But I don't think that I would make another choice. I know that I love being too busy all the time, and that I function better that way. As much as I like a gripe about it, I function better when I am really stressed out and not stressed. It's a bad word. Really, squeezed for time. And I think that kind of, I don't know, it's something I'm always figuring, whether it be for the highest benefit or not. We'll figure that out. But right now, it's the process that I'm needing to go through to learn more about myself, I suppose.
Well, kids are a great like just overall reflection of who we are, and to help us dive into more of who we are. I think our children just really help reflect that back to us. And I think because they're so honest and pure and natural and right there, that it's a fast reflection of what we're putting out as well. So that makes a lot of sense. And your desire to learn more about yourself, that kids, they'll reveal it in a heartbeat. And whether we want to see it at that moment or not, it's there. So that's definitely lessons learned there.
Yeah, I think it's like a way with each of these things, it helps me go deeper into who I am. And not that it's like just about me, because of course I want the best for them, which is a huge reason why I thought for my children in our situation that homeschooling would work for us. But yeah, it's like you want some self-growth tools, like 1, have kids, then 2, decide to homeschool them, and then 3, also start a business from scratch and see how well you get to know yourself and how quickly. And so I think, and that's not everyone's path, some people might find it so much easier to do self-growth, like by themselves in a space where they have that time with their mind. So we all function so differently. But yeah, for me, it's been huge in learning about all of us. I mean, also my children, I've learned about them on a totally different level because I'm seeing directly how they process the world through their learning, which has been a huge gift because it shows so much about just how they receive information and our communication with each other and things like that on a level I don't think I would have fully understood if I didn't, walk him through the process of reading and learning math and things like that. So
I'm curious. I'm afraid to ask this question, but I'm going to ask it anyways. Do you have any like routines in place to help ground you? Do you meditate or journal or visualize or do anything like that? Is there even time for that?
I was wondering why you were like nervous to ask, but yeah, because time, I guess. So it's funny, I actually just started the concept of really loosely time blocking in a way that is like with so much freedom. But I noticed that I would meld all these worlds so often that it would cause unnecessary unrest. So me being frustrated with my kids because I'm trying to write an email during time when I should be teaching them school isn't really fair to anybody. It's definitely not fair to the kids, but I found myself in that position often. So I recently started literally last week, putting down, okay, during this time and this time, you're not allowed to work. You're just not, like, you can't do it. So don't try, and then during this time, you are able to work and the kids know you're able to work. So if they're frustrated about it, you've already made it clear that this is the time when you're getting that stuff done. So I think that hopefully we'll see how that actually, it wasn't even last week, it was last weekend. So this will be my first time, but I feel already such an ease in saying, okay, we're going to have these guidelines around this. Because I am so freedom focused, I've always hated guidelines because I like to do what I want when I want. So I think that really combining those things and saying, okay, look, you can do what you want when you want, actually way better, because you're going to have this just gentle guide that helps everyone feel safe and comfortable. And so that's going to be one thing. I do have a meditation practice for a long time now. It actually recently switched over from just when the kids were asleep to just in the middle of the day. Like I'll just be on the couch and or whatever, meditating, and the kids are like, oh, she's meditating right now. Like just, but they're at an age now where I know they're safe if my eyes are closed for 10 minutes. And they're very familiar with it. So just integrating that in the middle of the day, which also has been really fun because they'll be climbing on me and things like that. And it's really deepening a practice of being able to be okay with all of that. And journaling, I have always journaled when I felt the need. I've never been a daily journaler, but recently I've been trying to just go to that more. I'm more of a talker than a writer. So finding ways to let those out. I don't have an issue sharing feelings and stuff. So I definitely journal in my own way through communication, through therapy, through talking with friends and things like that. But now I'm bringing it to an actual like practice more steadily. So.
That's wonderful. All right. Well, I'd love to know a little more about where Wild and Pure is going, and where can people find you if they want to connect with you, and obviously also check out your eco-friendly wipes.
Sure. Yeah. So the website, Wild and Pure website, is live as of today. If anyone visits, please give grace because we are just launched today. So if any links are broken, let me know. I would love to know, but hopefully everything goes smoothly. But that's live today, and we have our wipes. And actually, I'm going to share a little teaser here that I've like not really shared much, but I did recently write a children's book that is in the end phases right now. Yeah, I'm really excited about that. So it's in like final editing, and I'm going to be releasing that so these are all things I've just decided in the last couple of days. Actually, this is the first time I'm saying them out loud, but it will be released as an ebook version. I'm also going to have a very small batch of printed available. And then I also created a children's coloring book that goes along with the book. So it will be the book, but it will be all in coloring format so the children can create themselves into the story and really be their own creators of that. And it comes with little activities that the parents can share, because the homeschooling mom in me was like, oh, what lessons can we like take out of this page? So it has little activities and ways to talk about comprehension and reflection and things while the child is creating their own book. So there's going to be 3 different formats, and how they'll all be released will be information soon to come. But yeah, so that's what's coming. That's what's coming next. And I think I'm really excited. Why I'm excited about Wild and Pure, I think it's just a manifestation of how I want to show up in the world in such a greater way than Earthly was. I loved Earthly, but we all grow and flex and change. And I think, kind of to sum it up into words, when I created Earthly, of course it was out of love, but it was also it was very strategic. It was very much like, this will be the best, and this is the best thing to do, and here's this. And just like we talked about through this, I'm growing into a place of really wanting love and compassion to be at the forefront of everything. And I've realized over the last couple of years, like what I want more than anything in this world is just to be seen, heard, and loved as I am. And what I want to give to this world more than anything is for others to be seen, loved, heard and loved as they are. And so I want Wild and Pure to really be a reflection of that space. And so here we make products for you, but really what we're about is being here for you, giving you a space to be seen and heard and celebrated and reminded of your magic all of the time. And so we have our wipes, but the reason why the book is coming really is to be a piece of that energy and to help people like really, feel that concept from Wild and Pure. So yeah.
That is so exciting. I can't wait. I'm going to check it out. I don't have kids. I'm still going to check this out because it sounds powerful.
Thank you. Yeah, I've heard from a couple of people that are like, you don't need to be a kid to read this. I'm like, yay, I love that. It's kind of a for everybody book, but yeah. So
awesome. Well, thank you so much, Rochelle, for coming on the show today. And we are so excited. We're going to go check out that website right after this interview. You also check it out. It's linked into the description here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and have a beautiful rest of your day.
Thank you, Rochelle.